4:20 p.m. Your favorite time of day. 4:20. Amazing. There you go. Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 4:20 p.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is 4:20 p.m.? It's 4 hours away. I'd say that's right in the middle, you think? $15% off. So, would you say it like that? I don't know. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Well, shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip a couple new ones up. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Come on, capture. There we go. Let me look at it through OBS. They are best friends. I mean, that is 9. Is there another? There's another 9. Which of the 2 made-up words below is most appealing to you? Okie boinkle. Scrumtush. That one. Please don't adjust the slider. Okay. Do you know what time it is right now? Yes. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Yes. What is time anyway? Yes. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Yes. Help. Yes. Will you come back to visit me? Yes. I'm going on an adventure. This is not the narrator. This is a different character. Like, for sure. We need to help whoever this is. Time is up. Does anyone really, truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all the game settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now, the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. I still don't really know you. And you don't know me. And neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games were meant to be played alone. You like being alone, don't you? That's maybe the only information I really learned about you. Well, it's time for me to leave. There's still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. It's not really in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again if you can find me. Talk soon. That's new. Okay, I know they said they weren't coming back, but I'm gonna quit and then do it again. I'm probably gonna do that epilogue last. Yeah, I'll take your word for it, Apple. I imagine epilogue should be played and saved for last. Alright. You never know. Okay. Okay.
This is the story of a man.
There's a few ways you can go about this. Let me take the door on the left and follow all the instructions, but take the bucket with me.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now
We
more than ever.
are
Perhaps his
continuing.
boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
8.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point,
I think I already
Stanley
got
was so
the
absorbed
achievement.
in the
I wasn't
tender
paying attention.
spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
I heard it, and then
This
I
is
wasn't
certainly
paying
the most
attention.
logical explanation.
Okay, I already did the elevator one, but with the bucket and without. Let's see.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Bum ba dum bum. Alright.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control
Eventually I'll do that.
Facility.
We'll do that later. Okay.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Wonder if I can get the speedrun achievement.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped
What
the
endings
bucket
did I
in
do
shock.
yesterday?
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like
I did the confusion one.
The bucket
I don't
never
remember
seen
if I had the
anything
bucket
like
with
this,
me.
and it very nearly burst into tears.
I don't think I
Stanley
did.
cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
But I did that ending, and I did this ending without the bucket.
Was the bucket under
The
mind
normal
control
ending where you just
facility's
listen to
influence as
everything he
well?
says
Had the
to
bucket
do.
been told to do
I did
things
that.
it didn't wish to do?
I
What
got
kind of
heaven.
things does a bucket want
I got
to do
butt in
or
heaven.
not want to do in the first place?
So that was
These
cool.
questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter.
I think
His
it
one
might have
friend
been
in
without the
entire
bucket,
world.
but the bucket
At this
doesn't
point,
change
he could
too
trust
much.
no one
I did the
except
unplugged phone with the bucket.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
I did a lot of
Controls
things
labeled
just with the
emotions,
bucket.
Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his
Okay.
past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would...
My favorite was the whole ending, but that's predictable.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
I did
True,
do
it
the
was a
collectible
simple
hunting.
life
I
they
did. That was one of the
envisioned,
things I
but
did
it was
yesterday.
one they'd lived together, with
I got
one
all the
another to lean
collectibles.
on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening?
Oh no.
Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Awesome. Well, there is that ending. I want to press the on button.
All of his co-workers
I'm going to do the
were
same
gone.
exact thing
What
without
could
the
it mean?
bucket. Press the
Stanley
on
decided
button.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hello, Teddy.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Welcome
he entered the door on his
to
left.
Stanley Parable.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
I'm speed running
Feeling
to
a
get
wave of
as many
disbelief,
endings as I
Stanley
want.
decided to go up to his boss's office.
Alright.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping in.
No. No. I'm going back. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you. My friend, Eon Complex did the design on my shirt. I think there's still Eon Complex on Twitter. I did get the broom closet ending. We're leaving. Escape pod. Floor 760. Well, that seems to be the only place I can go. We're gonna have to go up a little bit. Just a little bit. Not too much. It's not Final Fantasy VII stairs levels of stair climbing. There we go. Next. God, it's so fuck. Why is it so dark? Oh, alright. Time to escape. Whoa! Original game, but with buckets. Well, that was straightforward. Let's escape.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh, actually,
What could it mean? Stanley decided to
I
go
want
to
to
the
go
meeting
press the
room.
on button.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's go press the on
When Stanley
button.
came to a set of
Turn
two open
turn
doors, he
mind
entered the
control
door his
on.
left.
Excuse
Yet
me.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
How completely quiet that last route was like kind of eerie.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Just open the fucking fireplace. Alright.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Alright. The bucket endings aren't like too different from the regular endings, I'm realizing. They're a little different, but
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
okay, no, I don't want to do that yet. I want to press yes. Yeah.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
It depends
What
on the ending. Well,
horrible secret did
which
this place
endings
hold?
are more
Stanley
different
thought
with
to
the
himself.
bucket?
Did he have the strength to
Which
find
ones
out?
should I just not miss? Pet Moon Pie should be working.
Now the monitors jumped.
I was
to life.
testing it
Their
earlier.
true
It was
nature
working.
revealed.
And people are using
Each
it.
bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many
it work?
individuals.
I can't
reduced
see
to
the
images on
Moon
a
Pie right now.
screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Have I done the confusion ending with the bucket? I don't
This
think so,
mind-controlled
actually.
facility,
I don't
it was too
remember how I got to
horrible
the confusion
believe it
ending.
couldn't be true. Had Stanley
Was
really
it
been
the
under someone's
elevator?
control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions
It worked.
had been
Okay, cool.
manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was
Never.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
I meant on,
Stanley
not
decided
yes.
that this machinery... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
I did.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley.
Pre-orders for
What
the
whatever I
body
really do.
pillow
But you need to
open on the
understand,
25th.
There's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
I would.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you
Oh my
exactly
God.
what happened to them.
That's 4.
I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what?
Is
To
there
hell with it.
6?
I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Wait a second.
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you.
What?
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. everything, anything. Something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Oh my god, he's so evil.
You're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so
No.
you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stan.
No!
That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing.
No, I was following
You
instructions.
blow to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the
I
moment of the
literally
video
deviated
until
from the
moment I
path at the
say
very last second and you're... Oh. 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 Is there a way I can win that button shit? Like, serious question. Is that just all nonsense, or can you actually put in, like, actual, like, button combinations for that?
all of his
No.
coworkers
Oh,
were
okay.
gone. What could
Alright.
it mean? Stanley
I'm gonna
decided
bring
to
my
go to the
bucket this
meeting
time.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is it different enough that I should bring my bucket? Should I bring the bucket?
When Stanley
then
came
press
to
it?
a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, hang on. I'm gonna go get the bucket. It's been data mined. None of those buttons do anything at all. Oh.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something...
Bucket.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together.
I have
Stanley
this.
touched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Bump.
Still no
Ba-da-da-dum.
one was here.
Bump,
Stanley
bump.
needed the bucket's warmth and comfort
That
now
escape pod
more than
ending,
ever.
is that
Perhaps
super
his
different with the
boss's
bucket?
office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright, well, I'm gonna try that again. Oh, I didn't walk in far enough.
Stepping into his manager's office.
I should have just gone ahead and did the other ending. Whatever. Whatever. Fine.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are
I've heard that already.
a recorded message,
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a
Humble
bucket,
bucket.
a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Bump, ba-dum.
Still no one was
If I don't
here.
make it out of the door in
Stanley
time,
needed
I'm
the
just
bucket's
gonna
warmth and comfort now more
go
than
to the
ever.
mind control
Perhaps
facility
his
with the bucket.
boss's office was where he'd find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Bump, ba-dum.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion. And
We dropped some
chaos.
frames, so I'm probably
It would be
lagging behind, but I have not done the escape ending at all.
He knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's
Damn it.
desk.
nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keep, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket...
Did I get the speedrun bit? I'm not
Yes,
sure.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Not sure, actually. I feel like I should have, because I did, like, go through it relatively fast. That was the first one I mean, I guess maybe it's not the ending of the game
Stanley and
with
the
the
bucket
bucket.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Bucket movement tech.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
The
Stanley
narrator
and the
doesn't
bucket
scold
both
me when I'm
wondered to
holding the
themselves.
bucket and... Oh. Enter the code fast. The bucket makes me immune.
The monitors jumped to life,
To verbal
and Stanley
abuse.
nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
No, the frames did
The
drop.
bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Right.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own
I wish it
life in
echoed
someone else's
back at him.
control. Never! He squeezed
No.
the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Except the bucket. Alright. So let's
But
go
here
turn
was
it
the
on.
proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold
Going in.
reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this...
On.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
That was the bucket's
Stanley
fault.
gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds.
Seagull.
Silly birds. The control button.
Silly
became
bird
active
sequence. No! Oh, I can look at more birds. Oh!
again. Stanley
Oh,
flipped
flamingo.
through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all.
It's controlling my
It
mind.
was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the
Look
world.
at them.
The mind controls
Oh.
were only a facade to disguise its true intentions.
humming.
Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius
What
in his
was
hands,
this one?
the one
Yes.
who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery.
Bucket insanity?
Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this
I don't think
place,
so.
flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable.
Duck.
Of all the
Duck?
possible
Goose?
paths his
I think that's
life
a
could have
goose.
taken, this one was surely the best,
Snake bird.
and Stanley was happy.
What a great ending this is. Egret? Oh no, I want to see more birds. Fuck. Why does the office look so different?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Why does it look so different?
Ah, the embrace of an old friend. A weathered
Oh.
companionship that Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the
Let's go to
door he
escape.
left.
Actually, I want to try something else.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was no. Never
You know, this
mind.
game makes me
Bucket
feel
was
like
wrong.
I'm like a
Stanley
kid
took the door
like,
on his left to go back to the meeting
at
room.
story time.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Whoop.
Still no one was here.
Oh, okay.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
I just feel like
Perhaps his
I'm
boss's
being
office was where
told
he'd
a
find
story
answers.
and I am just
Coming to a
really
staircase,
engrossed into the
Stanley and
story.
the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
It's story time for gamers. That's what it truly is.
Stepping in.
Yes! Alright. Escape pod. Escape pod. Escape pod. Oh, new content again. Huh. Weird. Okay. And then we go back through here into the void. And how different is this? Stairs. Keep going up the stairs. Yes. There is one ending I want to try because I looked up like how to get endings. I didn't look up like what is actually in the certain endings. But there is one that involves clipping out of bounds. And I am incredibly curious about that one. I think I do need the bucket for it. Alright, same so far. But how different does it get? Same so far. It's the same. Uh-oh. Well, now it's different. Caress. I'm very emotionally invested in this bucket. Goodbye. Only one of us can fit. No one else. We can't both fit in that escape pod. Goodbye, bucket. That's so dumb. It's like tinny purr. Incredible. Fucking incredible. I want to try to clip out of bounds.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where
Where-
everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the
Where
meeting room,
is
and
my
from then
bucket?
on, he would never be alone ever again.
No! No! No. No. I'm so fucking upset right now. Ah! Hey, welcome. I'm clipping.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
Meowdy,
Why
Maria.
don't we take a minute
Welcome.
just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want.
I could.
Right now. You could have done it just then.
Yeah.
Now would also be an appropriate time to quit.
I want to
Any of
hear
these points,
everything.
and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stan.
I don't know if that was worth it. I want my bucket back,
All of his
please.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Yes!
he had simply missed a memo.
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
I'm gone.
Yes, whispered the bucket in
Yes!
Stanley's ear. We've done it.
Yes!
Escape from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and
I know I'm
lives
moving 'cause of the
untold
shine
numbers
in the
of
bucket.
innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket?
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
No.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults.
This is
I was
completely
young
different.
back then and could not conceive the ramifications of no.
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid. You are a bucket. This is so stupid. Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like...
Kill it. Kill the bucket.
My God!
No!
Stanley, you did it! You saved us from the bucket! Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such
Why'd you have a
bravery
knife?
here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
Amazing. Hang on. I had to make sure I wasn't still scared. My face wasn't still scared. Alright, cool. Let's resume. I'm gonna go right. Bye, bucket. I'll see you later.
When Stanley came to a set of
Go
two open
right.
doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Go
and
this
Stanley
way.
knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room.
Wow.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I don't remember. Where does that lead? Was that the confusion ending? I think it was.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
So I want to go down here. I think I read something like there's a vent around here. Where is it? Am I blind? Oh, is it? Oh, it's right there. Duh. Going in. Okay.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Why is that even there? I also hate that trope. I feel like it can be done in interesting ways.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Nah. It's just a blank void out there. Let's, Okay, how about that ending? How different is that with the bucket? See ya, JM.
The
Let's go.
bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his...
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Never mind. The bucket was
The bucket was wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the
No.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Bye. I want to see weather someday too. Living in the desert. Whoa.
Okay, this is day number
Whoa.
295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms.
I haven't done the
Why
regular phone ending with the
everything
bucket. I should.
feels so. What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
Oh my god! The wizard that cast a spell on the bucket? Oh my god. Well, I'm glad we I mean, if we watched that first and then the murder bucket ending, it would have been very different.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed. Stanley
The man
touched
was
the
turned
bucket
into a
tightly to
bucket.
his chin. This was not the correct
This is
way to
him.
the meeting room, but
This is
Stanley
Bucket
had
Man.
felt the bucket calling to him, telling
Bucket
him
head,
that
if you
the
will.
employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left.
Where does
to go
this
back to
lift
the
go?
meeting
I
room.
forget. Was that the confusion ending? Like, I don't remember what that one was. Buckethead is a great band. Buckethead did a song in the Mortal Kombat movie, from what I remember. At least one. I think it was Goro. That's confusion ending. You know what? Let's do confusion ending.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance
Might as
section
well.
and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I'm just gonna keep going.
Oh, good.
I'm feeling
Stanley.
alive.
I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd
Oh
find
my
this
god,
place
it's-
eventually.
What is this?
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care
Baby.
about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters
No,
from
I'm
the
not
first
listening.
game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line?
Not
We could
really.
make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes,
No.
yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
I don't want that. Is that it? Do you care about me? Oh, wait.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Again? Good lord.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
I feel like this would
Don't
be
you
a lot
get
more
it, Stanley?
impactful if I had
We
played
need to
this
get
game
rid of
10
the
years
bucket.
ago.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
No! Why? No!
I think it'll
No!
make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along.
right.
Don't you agree?
All
Can
right.
you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
Does
Go
it
ahead
have
now,
something to do
Stanley.
with buckets?
Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I can't.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I
It's
don't know
looking
what
at
the
me with
Bucket
its big old
Destroyer will do if
eyes.
It can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you
No.
were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the
You won't
fans,
let me.
Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
No. 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 What is this?
The Bucket Destroyer. My
Why?
prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye.
I'm bleach mode
new
now.
friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
The Bucket Destroyer has been destroyed. I'm a Bucket Destroyer. I didn't kill my bucket. My bucket is fine. Unless I did and I just didn't realize it. Hey, what the fuck? Did you guys... Bruh! Hey, what? Oh! That was a mistake! I found the most secret ending of all.
Just a step through
Thanks.
this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If
I
can
think-
make it
I think
through
I
this
beat the
door,
game.
I can make it through them all.
What should I do next? I just did, that was confusion.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door.
Oh, phone ending. Let's do phone ending.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to
And then we
be.
can do escape,
And here it was. Had the bucket turned
both
out to be
ways?
correct? Well, no, never mind.
and then I
Bucket was
can't think of
wrong.
any other possible
Stanley took the door on his
endings.
left to go
Other
back to
than
the
the
meeting room.
epilogue, obviously.
No, said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's
Is the
something up
bottom
there
of the
I
mind
need you
control
to do.
facility ending with the
Stanley
bucket
did
any
not
different?
question
Like,
why or how
significantly,
this
or?
bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Extremely? Well...
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the...
Okay.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend.
I like that candle.
And then,
Kind of want one.
very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to
Ooh.
him.
Okay, these paintings are kind of meh, but the decorating in here is pretty nice. Hello, Stanley, it's me, your bucket. Press K to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Press B to take me back home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Press I to go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it would ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man. Press H for us to go back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Press F to ignore anyone in your life except for me. Press F. That's what I meant.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press X to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press I to relive the same day with me, over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Press L to go home, to work, to home, to work, to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand.
We must sleep with the
Perhaps
bucket.
if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Close your eyes. Go back to work, Stanley. Is the bucket a top or a bottom? I mean, what is a bucket but a very large hole? Do with that what you will.
My God, the bumpscosity in here is absolutely overwhelming. 1,000? You people have got to be nuts. How can you stand this much bumpscosity?
It's power bottom.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate, assertive yet compassionate. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Think it's a Switch? I think it's a Nintendo
Still no
Wii.
one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley
Have I
was once
jumped
again
off the
stunned
lift?
to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code.
The
by
lift
sheer
that you
luck.
take to
Was
the
it
other side of the
bucket
room?
all along? Was the
I
bucket
did with the
guiding
bucket,
him?
yes. If that's what you're
Yes,
asking.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Sexiest Nintendo console. Well, obviously, it's the Wii. Obviously. The sexiest Nintendo console. I can't think of a funny answer. I'm sorry.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I did get both elevator endings.
The lights rose
With
on
the
an
bucket
enormous
without.
room packed with television screens. What horrible secret
The
did this
3,
place
3,
hold?
3, 3, 3,
Stanley and the
3.
bucket both wondered to themselves.
3. I still want the 8 ending. I don't know if I can get it. Because I vaguely looked up how to get that, and I am
The
unsure
monitors
if
jumped
I...
to life, and Stanley nearly
am
dropped
able
the bucket
to.
in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like
Was it
guinea
this
pigs.
chair?
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Get up there. Get on up there. Was it elsewhere? There we go. Alright.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed
Comes
further
later?
into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed.
A couch?
It really wasn't so bad down
Wow.
here. A bit cold, perhaps. After some
What?
time had gone by, they installed
Oh my god,
a
Blem.
sort of kitchenette. that was
Welcome.
useful for when the
Welcome
bucket
to
was
Stanley
clean
Parable
and
Ultra
neat.
Deluxe.
But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps
Tazara,
came
if you're
in
still
that
here,
it
if you
really
could shout
started
out
to feel like a home.
Blem, I would
In
appreciate
fact,
it.
After some time,
Welcome.
Stanley realized
What were you
that
playing?
It had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control
I've never played this
facility.
game before. This is only my
He'd
third
never
time
gotten to fully
streaming
explore
it.
what was up there. Never been able to
been a
unearth
Stanley
the
Par-
many
Stanley
mysteries
kinda
of the
weekend.
mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him.
Oh, you
Soon
did
he
it
was
wrong.
dwelling
You
on
did
his
it wrong. You
regrets,
can't.
and the
You
state of
get.
their home
Wait, no, you
slowly
did it right.
decayed as Stanley became withdrawn
My
and
bad.
neglected the cleaning.
I was like, you put an at.
Unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to
Sonic
reach out to him
Marathon?
again
Oh
and
my
again,
God.
but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path.
I'm
It
sorry,
was
I'm
a
not
mistake. It was a mistake.
welcoming
I need to do
everybody
what the narrator
warmly.
says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, who which was simply trying
Are
to
these
live
bird
its life
buttons?
down here as comfortably as possible.
Soup!
Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't
Get-
an ending.
Once this
This is
ending
just
is
a hole
over,
in the
I will
ground.
properly
Bucket
greet you
sighed.
all.
True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually.
Soup.
It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
And then we got an ending. I suppose. Anyway, hello, everybody from Blem Stream. I hope Sonic treated everybody well. I am Spoony, and I generally stream a lot of horror games. I just, especially indie horror games. I just streamed Gyroscopia, and that was really interesting.
All
Sort
of
of-
his co-workers were gone.
Sort of game.
What could it mean?
Is also
Stanley
furry.
decided to go to the
Main
meeting.
character was a
Perhaps
cute
he
bunny
had
girl,
simply missed a
and
memo.
I loved her, and she was great. Very cool vibes, but generally I like spooky experience, and I like trying to make those spooky experiences a little more relaxing and fun. Right now, Stanley Parable isn't exactly a horror game, but it is pretty meta, I would say,
When Stanley
and
came to a set
can
of
get
two
pretty
open
disturbing
doors,
and
he entered the
unsettling.
door on his left.
I don't think we will be experiencing any unsettlingness. We
Yet there
might
was not a
run
single
into
person
some
here
more.
either. Feeling a wave
But
of
there are
disbelief,
content warnings
Stanley decided
when
to go
scenes
up
are
to
coming
his
up that
boss's
are maybe a
office.
bit
Hoping
upsetting.
he'd come into a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So that is helpful. But this is my first ever playthrough, and this is my third stream of it, and I just
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now.
Have been
Dark
dissecting.
secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey,
Oh,
look,
cool.
it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Quelle surprise. Okay, narrator's starting to get tired of this game. Wow. Primarily a comedy game, but it's clever enough to use its tools. Yeah. I find it a bit more existential. Like, it is very funny. It is a very funny
Stanley walked
game,
straight
but
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
it's a
Facility.
good balance.
Although this
I haven't done
passageway
this
had
one
the
yet.
word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nah.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to
I love
walk
love
forward
letter and
willingly
I love
confront
games that
his
are
death.
in themselves like criticisms of games. The Hex also was a very different game, but also was very much a criticism of game development, and I loved it. Oh. Oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected
Uh-oh.
that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Uh-oh.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this
Oh,
world
no.
is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Would the bucket save me?
Farewell, Stanley.
Oh. Goodbye. Well,
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
oh.
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Hello. This is the part where I kill you. Oh no. This is the part where he kills us.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
Who killed
What exactly did
the other
think
narrator?
he was going to accomplish?
what?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
Bleach
Do you see
mode
now?
activated.
Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh. The path from Stanley's office to the 2 doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. That's very cool. Oh my god, Solitaire. No, I wanted to play it. I love Solitaire. I'm boring and I like boring card games. Button sounds. Selection of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. I love that. Fun fact, in Mixed Feelings, the sounds for the hovering over the options and stuff, one of them is literally just me putting my fingers up to like I'm going to snap up to the mic and going like that. I don't know if you heard that, but and the confirm sound when you click on something is literally me like clicking my tongue and going. The way sounds are made. Credits. Let's go left. Maintenance room. These probably lead to the same place, but yeah, the sounds, the menu sounds in Mixed Feelings are just me doing ASMR noises. The more you know. Good lord, there's so much to choose from. So much to look at. The lounge. Underground.
It's the kind of thing you pick up on intuitively if you have even the most fundamental understanding.
Kevin Brighting, the voice of the narrator, recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development. These are clips from early takes that were not used in the final game.
At the top of the facility to end this injustice forever.
I do love in-game museums on like development. One of my favorite games, well, one of my first games growing up was Namco Museum. And that wasn't like on development. Well, I guess it sort of was. But it had a bunch of like old arcade games from Namco. And you could go through a little museum that showed like promotional material and stuff for each game. And like the history of it. It's so fucking cool. I love that. Maybe I should have a Namco Museum stream. Countdown ending. Freedom ending. Monitor room elevator. Countdown room. I see why people would want me to go to the escape one last. Game design mockup. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout from the mockup is still in the game. Oh, that's fucking cool. Offices? Stanley's office. From left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office over time. The first was created in November 2011, the second in March 2012, and the third in February 2013. Oh yeah, the museums in Ratchet & Clank were very cool. It definitely got more life over time. What's this? The lounge. Narrator emails. After the second trailer, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of those emails. Are you gay? It's interesting. Will Stanley Parable have infinite quests? How many endings? If the Stanley Parable is really going to let me go shopping, I hope it will have a fine selection of desert boots. How do you make the worst game ever? What is the difference between a duck? What the fuck? People are so strange. Warzone. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Oh, they should have done it. Do you RP? I know what you are. Tron. Maintenance room. An early version of the maintenance. You know what I'm saying. I hope. Well, we went full circle. I think there was something up here. Wait, did we? Yeah, that's where we came in. Okay. Also, hey Zeke. What's up? I'm addicted to this game. I really like it. I don't know if there's ever been an instance where I intended to play a game one stream and then it ended up being way longer than I expected. And then I went, all right, well,
Oh, look at these
I'm going to
two.
listen to this narrator.
How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Well, we're turning it off.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
Do I actually have to begin the game again? Or can I just die?
Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
I want to know. I'm waiting. Can I just die? I don't want to kill him. Oh. I'm gonna drink some water. You can die? Huh. That was what my heart said to do, is die. That's a little upsetting, I think. Oh. If you die in the game, you die in real life. Oh. Shit. Well, it just brought me back. Bucket time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket time.
Stanley's bucket. The only co-worker.
Oh my god,
he
I
ever
am streaming 30 minutes over my time.
Stanley
Oh, fuck.
touched the
I didn't
bucket
even
tightly to his
realize.
chest and entered
Wait.
the door on his
Yeah,
left.
left. Oh my god, I didn't realize that part was gonna be so long. I didn't
Still
realize
no
it was
one
late.
here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps
Can I
his
even
boss's
die?
office
No.
was where he'd
I'm
find
immortal.
answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I just get reincarnated.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley
Hell
guessed
yeah.
the correct code by sheer luck.
Immortal
Was it that
beering.
the bucket knew all along?
Immortal
Was the
being
bucket
gang.
guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
I'm so pissed. I looked up, like, how long does it take to beat this game, and it was, like, about 2 hours when focusing on the main objective, and I was like, alright, well, I don't think I'll be doing everything in this game, and look at me now, doing everything in this fucking
Mind
game.
control facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Bum, ba-dum. Bum,
The door
bum,
behind
bum,
them was
bum,
not
bum,
shut.
ba-dum.
Stanley and the
bum,
bucket
bum,
still had
bum,
every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this
Yeah,
point,
I
Stanley and
wasn't
the
sure
bucket were
exactly what the
knowingly
nature of
walking
this game
forward
was.
into a very painful death for each of
Normally, I don't go to see every aspect of a game, but this is a different kind of game than I am used to playing. Okay, bucket will save me.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected
What
on how
would be
meaningless
even the main
bucket's
objective
warmth
of
and
this
comfort
game?
had
To
turned
just
out to
listen to
be.
the narrator
To be
and
sure,
escape?
It puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Well,
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led
Is it the
helplessly
same?
into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed
No.
violently to death.
oh no! Yeah, it's the same so far.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets
Oh,
are
no, it's
radiant
different.
in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Wow. Standing at the precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void, but through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept it with an open mind? What may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? Is it just a bucket exhibit?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far
25
more
buckets.
noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Inferno bucket. The stress bucket. This... It unworded the word bucket? Are you kidding me?
No man can own a bucket.
What
and certainly
text
not a
should I
bucket
be
as dazzling
reading?
to behold as this one.
There's so
It
much.
is man who should kneel
All of
before
it?
the bucket.
I'm reading it. I don't... There's too much. There's too much to read. Okay, fine. Photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of this euphoria from exposure to the many buckets at once. Incredible. Bucket with 2 handles. This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Don't! Inferno bucket. A replica of their Inferno bucket, which is the medieval era, was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains, no one can control a bucket. I can't believe it took that long for somebody to say it. While we know the buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasure. Is that the first time you've seen that, Red? It's a rare occurrence, but it happens. The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. I found the hole!
There is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader.
Now they want us to die.
World, a new vision.
Would things have changed if I just reset the game instead of let Stanley die last time? Weird. Alright. Should I do the epilogue now? Or is there anything else I should be doing? Go downstairs after I go left toward the boss? Yes. Okay. I'm remembering. With the bucket. Insanity ending. And then epilogue.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Is Stanley without the bucket really Stanley at all? No. No, surely not.
Okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I don't want to do the baby game. Maybe that can be the fundraiser milestone.
Still no one was here.
Charity
Stanley
stream
needed the
milestone.
bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps
That's what
his
we'll do.
boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it.
This section
He
contains
considered the
themes of
possibility
mental
facing his
illness.
boss, admitting he had left his post during work.
That is your
hours.
content
He might be
warning.
fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this.
Where'd my bucket
Who knows
go?
what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
No.
And indeed, now he noticed the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be?
Bucket.
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
No.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
I liked the skip
Mariella
button
woke up on a
one.
day like any other.
That one was very
She rose,
creepy.
got
I liked it
dressed,
a lot.
Picked up her bucket of comfort and security and walked to her place of work.
Oh my god, she's got a
But on this
bucket.
particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket.
Oh god.
Of course, he'd gone mad.
Bucky.
Ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions.
Everything
and
is
how everything
served
is
in a bucket.
predetermined.
Welcome!
Oh my god.
And it's all
Everyone
just a
is rating me
video game.
today.
It
It's
could all have been
Monday.
invented if only
Jing
he'd
Bear.
taken his bucket with
Thank
him.
you for the raid. Welcome everybody. We're finishing up Stanley Parable. We're about to see the end.
And she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course,
We're
she
about to
had
see
no
the
time for
end.
this. There were a
We
myriad
must
of
have
confusing
buckets,
problems
apparently.
She would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide.
How is your
absolute
stream?
guidance and
Welcome
total
in.
clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to
Gee,
work.
I wish we could have seen that. How is your stream? You go, Mariella. Backflip all the way to work. Oh, Kingdom Hearts, the original one? How well has that game aged? Okay. Now is it epilogue time? I feel like KH1 has like the best story, honestly. I feel like that story was beautiful. Oh, you beat Captain Hook. The gameplay I don't think has aged well, and the cutscenes have always been stupidly awkward, even when it came out. But I feel like the story was the most
All of his
cohesive,
co-workers were gone.
and they just kind of went off the rails. Alright, should we epilogue it? Epilogue time. Let's see what the epilogue has in store for us. Will I be able to get the 8 ending? Many, many years later. Love to sit on my office chair next to the fire. Beautiful. And go toward the moon. Sasha, what do you want from me? I'm sorry, it's so late. Sorry, cat is yelling at me. Max Smokey. This is beautiful. Is this game gonna make me feel that kind of way that makes me feel like I understand life better? I feel like I'm already there. Wow. What is this? Is this the memory zone? Wow. Did you see the pod? What thing? Oh, that thing? Hold on. Thank you. The memory zone. I've gone like completely quiet despite the narrator not talking all the time. The memory zone. Go up. Here we go. Wow. This cord here to guide me. What is this? Cookie Nine's blog. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. Where the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fan base. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting. A welcome reprieve. Oh. Head off. I feel I can't appreciate the gravitas of this ending without the rest of the game. Aw. Well, definitely experience it for yourself, because it's pretty great. And have a good sleep, if you sleep. I don't know. I don't know your life. Some people don't sleep. I never did find this button, did I?
Jim.
I guess there it is. Stanley Parable developers, no more spin-offs, no more sequels. When the Stanley Parable launched to massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. Thank you, Mayu, for the 4 pyramids. And also welcome. But a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been farther from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. Amazing. Jim. We must go toward the sparklies. Press every button? Are you for real?
Jim.
Why are you... Why?
Jim. Stanley. Jim.
Now I know. going in. Hello again. Hello. It's nice to see you. It's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Perverse the integrity of the franchise? Preserve, not perverse. What nonsense. Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together we are going to make the Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. Oh, I understand now. We also need a really dumb subtitle for the game. Something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game. Pocket full of boyfriends. Stanley Parable 3, Pocket Full of Boyfriends. It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1. Ha, I understand. And then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way the Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this, either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It'll just be the same content, recycled again and again and again, with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. Let's do it. Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. All right, there. The achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time. No. Why do I have to do it like this? Confirm. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley Parable. Pocket full of boyfriends. Wow. Okay. I'm imagining I close and open the game until it says Stanley Parable 8. I'm going to do that. What happens if you say no? Then I wouldn't get the 8 ending. What do you mean it just stays on the Stanley Parable too? Employee of... No. Fistful of... Fight. Yes! No, yep. Yep. I'm seeing this through. I'm seeing this through. For lavish race to the... No. Forgotten Square. Expo hall door opens up again and you can take the bucket into that. I just want the 8 ending. That's all I want. That's how I want to wrap this up. Race to the Forgotten Square. I'm well on my way. I figured. See, all Case told me is there's an 8 ending. Return to monkeys. Yes! Awesome. I'm curious if, like, the title screens change according to, like, the titles you pick. The words you pick. Probably, probably not. That had nothing to do with monkeys, but... well. Half employee, half birthday party. Okay, we're on 7. Hey, guy. All right. Last one. Now, I may need guidance for if there's anything I need to do after this. I'm gonna get on 8.
Soup!
If there's a soup option, I'll pick it. The ghoulish in search of circles. That's what 8s are, right? Okay. Do I just begin the game from here? He's in search of circles. Right.
Hold on. What's this?
8.
No fucking way.
8.
I hate
8.
The Stanley Parable 8?
I hate Case.
No.
Is this all it
doesn't
is?
look right at all. The Stanley Parable takes place in an office building. There are doors and branching paths. This is just a button that says 8.
8.
Where did the Stanley Parable go?
8. 8. 8.
Fucking
8.
so mad.
8.
Of course it would be
8.
this.
8.
Of course this is
8.
all it is.
8.
Of course. Oh, thank you for the 8 bits.
8.
God damn it.
8. 8. 8.
Well, I'm looking around and I really can't find the game anywhere. No boss's
8.
office or mind control facility or any of that. Literally just this 8 button. And what's
8.
worse is that you seem to be having a better time with this nonsense
8.
game than with the story I wrote for you.
8.
I'm actually a little insulted.
8.
Will you ever play Critters for Sale? It's a pretty wild, surreal horror point-and-click adventure game. That sounds interesting. I might
8.
put it on the list.
8. 8. 8.
God fucking damn it,
8.
Case.
8.
I was like, I'm not stopping playing this until I get the 8 ending, and I worked so hard.
8,
I summoned you with 8.
8,
Wheat.
8,
Wheat.
8, 8,
Is that all? I'm fucking mad.
8,
Well, I don't know what happened to the Stanley Parable or what the 8 button is, but apparently
8.
you're having a riveting time with it.
8.
And frankly, I don't even want to pander to someone who finds this enjoyable. So with that, I
8.
guess just go ahead and
8.
enjoy the Stanley Parable 8.
I guess 8 is just a meme number to the devs.
8,
8.
8, 8,
It would have been funnier if I streamed this on 8/8.
8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8,
How long can I keep this up for?
8, 8,
Demo for the original version of this game was a completely different game compared to what actually came out. Incredible.
8,
It is perfectly symmetrical, isn't it?
8,
Turn it on its side, it looks like boob.
8,
Ugh.
8,
Or infinity, you know.
8, 8, 8,
At one point, the narrator tries showing you the demo for the Stanley Parable, but instead you just come across a button that says 8.
8,
This is that game.
8,
That's wonderful. Wonderful backstory. And also, I've been streaming way too long.
8,
And I think I have
8,
expended
8,
everything in the Stanley Parable.
8,
I think I've seen it all.
8,
And whatever I haven't seen, I can see
8,
probably on my own time.
8,
This is wonderful.
8,
Thank you again, Apple, for getting this game for me. I'm glad I finally got to play it, and I'm glad I enjoyed it so fucking much that I ended up streaming it 3 days in a row without intending to. It just worked out. You gotta 8 before going to bed.
8, 8,
Alright, on that note, this game is great. I've enjoyed my time with it. You all should play the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. It is a trip. It's been a long time since I've played a game so thoroughly. I just wanted to know everything. I just wanted to see. Tiny bit more game, but that can come later.
8,
What else is there? I won't do it now, but
8,
what have I missed?
8,
I went gamer mode. I
8.
did. Sometimes that happens to me.
8,
Not usually during streams, but
8, 8,
I don't know. I'll figure it out. I
8.
think this is all I will stream. Go back to the expo hall with and without the bucket.
8,
I'll figure that out. All right. For real. I'm getting out of here. And hey, maybe as a milestone during a charity stream or fundraising stream, whatever comes first, maybe I'll do the fire baby thing as a milestone, like if it is met. I would dread that because that would probably fuck up my wrist. But could do that. That'd be fun. I will definitely check out the dev's other stuff. Definitely. Germa did it on his first playthrough of the game. That's dedication. Alright. Well, until next time, Stanley Parable. For now, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to talk about some upcoming things. First thing, next stream is going to be Soma. I'm going to start Soma. Because my friend Evie gifted me that forever ago, actually, like, before Signalis even, and I played Signalis during Christmas, so goddamn, it's about time I start Soma. And I hear great things about Soma, so I'm really excited to get that started. But What are some other things to talk about other than the next stream coming up? Ah, that's right. Alt F4 was asking about this. Yeah, the design has been done. I'm going to try and open pre-orders on Friday. On Friday, I'm going to be opening pre-orders for this body pillowcase. It is just the pillowcase. No body pillow included. You gotta get that yourself. But that'll be up in a shop. I'll be announcing it on Discord, on Twitter, on Blue Sky, everywhere. As long as Twitter is still around. I have a feeling it won't be much longer. I have a feeling, or at least people will be leaving. So you can follow me on socials and see when that gets announced. And the link to that, so you can do pre-orders. I'll probably close pre-orders in like a month's time, and then send everything out. Also, thank you for oh my god, thank you for the Docky dollars, 100 bits. I appreciate it. But yes, that's opening on Friday, and I can see about sending those out in October, maybe mid-October. We'll see how it all turns out. It depends on how everything goes. And I also plan on making a two-sided keychain as well for anybody who doesn't want the body pillow but does like the design and just wants, you know, a tiny version of it instead of a whole-ass goddamn body pillow. I have one myself. It's on my bed and I sleep with it every night, and that sounds weird, and it is. You're right. You are correct about that. Anyway, if you enjoy my streams, it would really help to, oh, actually, Patreon is already linked in the chat. You can join the Patreon for just $1 a month. Really helps me out. $1 to $15 is the highest tier. Highest tier is merch tier. You get monthly stickers. Monthly themed stickers. The next stickers I will be sending out at the end of September. And I'm going to make them like some sort of Halloween themed. And that'll be real fun. So if you'd like to join, you can click that Patreon link. Once I reach 75 patrons, I will be doing a 4th stream instead of 3 streams a week, normally. Yes, I'll do like a morning stream, one of the evening streams, etc. One of the days that I do an evening stream. There you go. Words! Sorry, I like this song. Anyway, you can also check out my merch store. I can fucking talk. It's late. Listen. Right now there's just stickers, but I want to see if I can add some more things to the store as time goes on. I want to add Do Not Pet shirts into there and see if I can find anything else that I would like to put into the store, etc., etc. You know, all that cool shit. All that cool shit. I'm on the last day of the year in Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. Maybe next stream, at the end of stream, I will run those polls to name my child and stuff. And that'll be fun. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me for Gyroscopia and also Stanley Parable. This has been a good time. Let's end this. Let's end this! Let's get out of here. Who's streaming right now? Who are we going to visit? I don't even think I have to say what the raid message is. You guys know. Oh, Duke! Duke came back to streaming after 2 months of not streaming. I should raid Duke. Is Duke still going strong? I imagine Duke's gonna be going for a while. Duke started before me, I think. But Duke was gonna fight the Ender Dragon. Let me see how close he is to the Ender Dragon. I don't think he's very close. I'm definitely gonna raid Duke. Let's raid Duke. Have a good lunch, Mayu. It's definitely... Yep. He's in the end? Would now be a good time to raid? Oh. Minecraft hell. I don't know Minecraft. The Nether! The Nether! Okay, that's the one. Not the end. Okay. My frigor. Alright, well, we're gonna go say hi to Duke, and we're gonna say 8. Like that. I think he'll know. I think he'll know what that means. Alright. You don't even have to copy that. But that's what I want you to make Duke's chat look like. You must celebrate with him. Anyway. Have a good night, everybody. I'm gonna go sleep. And 8 something. Ha ha! Ha! Good night.